Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another season of Signed the Traitors. I am here as your host, Katie. I'm here with my wonderful co host, Javier, and we're brought to you by Silent Podcasts, where anything but silent. Javier, it's good to be back. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to talk to traders again. The US season had some ups, some downs, but overall, I really liked it. So I'm excited to see how the Canada season goes.
Yes, give me your. Okay, so it's been a while since we have covered together only Traitors US, but I have
Yes.
watched Traitors UK season one, Traitors Australia season one, but I have not caught up on Australia season two or New Zealand.
Mhm.
But we're covering Canada because that has just started 2 weeks ago. So we have two episodes to cover tonight. Have you watched any of the other international Traitors yet, or are you diving in fresh with Canada as an international season?
Yeah. So I'm diving in fresh.
Okay.
So I wanted to go back and watch the seasons, but I've had this issue with other like reality TV shows where if I start watching all the international seasons, I get
Yes.
really burnt out quickly.
Yes.
So I try to limit myself. So I'm trying to limit myself just to like newer that new seasons that keep coming
Hmm.
out. So yeah, I'm very excited for Canada. I know they're doing the mixed cast again, which
Yes. Mixed cast again.
which I have again mixed feelings about. I wasn't it got kind of annoying during the US season.
Yes.
So we'll see how this season goes. So far after two episodes, overall, it seems like we have a bit more brains on the faithful sides
I
than we
hope
did
so.
in the American season, but we'll see.
I hope so. I was doing actually a little research before the podcast, and I was looking up some of the cast bios since we didn't do a cast reveal for this season.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to familiarize myself a little bit, and it seemed like even though most of who I'm considering to be like the more normal cast members, and not the reality TV stars, some of them have appeared on other reality shows, like random, like Go Big or Go Home Canada, which like I don't know what that is. I actually just made that
Oh.
up. I don't know if that's the name of it, but it's like things
I
like
was like,
that
wait, is
where
that
it's
the
like
real world? Wasn't that a real world season? Go big or go home.
it was a real world season, that is true. But I think, yeah, it seems like they've had other television appearances, not as big as like Big Brother or
Yeah.
The Amazing Race or Survivor, obviously, but
Hmm.
like little shows here and there. So wouldn't say reality stars, but I would say some of them, majority of them, it doesn't seem like it's their first time on TV. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I still am not considering them like a cast of reality stars. And there are
Yeah.
a few that were never on TV at all. But like one of the guys, I think his name is Leon, was like a CFL player, like a football player. So I
Oh,
don't know. I
okay.
think like they have something going on behind the scenes, some of these people. So maybe not as like fresh off the street as we thought.
All right,
But
that's we'll see. Hopefully, maybe that'll help
yeah,
them
we'll
during the
see.
season.
Yeah. What's your initial thought of the cast so far? We kind of jump in with them all on a boat, so that's different.
Hmm.
Usually we see them on a train. Well, in the US, I don't think we saw much of their entrance, but in the UK, we saw them enter on a train, on a steam train, which was kind of cool. Now we have a boat. What's your thoughts so far on the cast?
So I'm actually really liking the cast so far. I
Me too.
liked the variety of reality TV shows they went with. They hit MasterChef. They brought in,
Yes.
they have Big Brother. We have Survivor. The fact they brought in a drag race person was like insane
Hmm.
for me because I've always wanted a drag race person because a lot of these drag race like stars are just they're slightly delusional, but like in the best way possible. So they
Yeah.
make for great TV. And Fierce is already giving me what I wanted from a drag
Yes.
race person on these type of shows. So I'm very happy with the cast and the civilians. Honestly, after two episodes, I'm liking a few of the civilians. We'll get more into it as we talk into the episodes. But a few of them do seem to have like a good head on their shoulders, and I'm hoping that they won't allow themselves to be misted as bad as the civilians were
Hmm.
in the first season of the US. How about you?
I totally agree with everything you said. I think that this group of civilians are definitely more similar in their attitude to maybe like the first Australian cast and the UK cast, who all came to
Hmm.
play. Like they really delivered. So I'm excited. I feel like they're almost giving us more than what some of the reality stars are giving us on the
Hmm.
season. I like that we're getting drama. I like that Fierce is like stirring the pot with some of the civilians. I think we're getting a lot of good stuff. I know that's episode 2, but we'll get there.
Hmm.
I have a question for you because I've been trying to figure it out throughout the two episodes. Are they in the same place as season one of US and the UK? Because UK, I think so, but then at certain points I'm like, wait, this kitchen's different. Wait, this round table might be different, but I can't really tell. Like it looks the same because they have that yellow chair,
Hmm.
but I can't tell.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't tell either. I feel like it is the same, But I think I'm also being clouded by the fact that the missions are the same. So the fact that the missions are the same makes me think
Yes.
everything is just the same. Like they didn't even try to like change it up a little bit.
Nope. Didn't even try. I mean, well, we'll talk about the first mission, but like overall, the missions on the show, and we talked about it with US.
Yeah.
Carrie and I also watched season 2. Carrie will be back this season, but she has a very busy schedule, so she'll pop in and out this season to cover the show with us. But she wasn't able to join us this week. But as you guys know, if you listen to us cover season 1, you know Carrie also watched the international seasons, and we had a lot of complaints about the missions because they're really inconsequential. You can fast forward through most of them, and US and UK, I think, had a little bit of an excuse to have the same missions because they filmed around the same time, back to back. Neither of the shows aired. Canada, though, you guys had time to come up with new missions. You guys know that we saw the same challenges for season 1 of US and season 1 of UK. Why are we seeing the same thing on 2 episodes? And it looks like episode 3 has one of the same, if you watch the preview, has the same mission as well that we saw. And I'm just very confused that they didn't do anything to switch it up. The quarry mission was a little different, but but it's ultimately the same thing. We could talk about that when we get there.
The other thing that I found interesting was, didn't the US version have like half and half? This season, there's only like half celebrities, half civilians. This season has 8 celebrities and 12 civilians, which I think is like, I wonder why they broke it down that way. Could they have not, like, did they not find anyone else? I feel like they could have easily hit up the Big Brother people, the Survivor people. They all would have done it, you know?
Yeah,
so
like,
I found that
why
weird.
do we not have Kevin Jacobs on our screen?
Oh my God, that would be good.
Hello?
Kevin versus Kevin. I would watch
Kevin versus
that.
Kevin. I would love to watch it. That would be amazing. Yeah, I agree. It is a little strange, but I kind of like that balance a little bit better. And maybe it is just the fact that, like, you know, obviously Kuzi and Kevin might know of each other or might know each other, given that they both play Big Brother Canada, and maybe they know Erica through social circles, but like it doesn't feel like we have these deep relationships like we had with Suri and Rachel and Stephanie and Cody and Rachel. You know, like it doesn't all run as deep, which I like, because even at the end of the first episode, we kind of see, and I know I'm kind of jumping a little bit all over the place, and I do have notes. It does feel like Kuzi is even starting to question Kevin a little bit, where like in season 1 of the US, we really got everybody sticking together and like, nope, I will not question this person. There's no way that this person's a traitor just because they knew each other. So I kind of like that balance is there.
Agreed. I agree. Yeah. That's probably why they did it, honestly.
Yeah. We have a new host. Her name is Karine Vanassi. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's serving some fashion.
She is serving. I wrote that in my notes. I was like, okay, she came here to serve looks. Okay,
she did. She had to keep up with Alan and Claudia from the UK. Claudia also served a lot of fashion. The Traitors in general is a very fashionable show so far for the seasons that we've had. And I kind of love it.
I wonder if that's like in the contract, like we have to look like really cool or like have some cool looks here.
Yeah,
like,
they
very
are showing
I feel like reality TV shows, they usually have just like the guys are in like a suit and then they're like in a dress or something, you know? So it's very like, it's nice to see they're like pulling out these looks and like a bit more extravagant.
Yeah. I know. I love to see it. And I like that we get to see the contestants also. Not that we saw like a ton of fashion from the contestants, but we saw some. And I just like that because I feel like on Big Brother, we always just see people in like athleisure, and on Survivor, we see people in like their underwear all season because they're not allowed to wear bathing suits anymore. So it's like, it's nice to see people in like their natural habitat of like just dressing the part. I love it.
Agreed.
So I wrote a couple of notes about a few of the cast members. We've got a psychic, Donna, who we will definitely talk about. But I just don't know why psychics or mediums or whatever, if that's your career, why are you signing up for a show where you have to be like accusing someone of something and then your credibility goes out the window when you're inevitably going to be wrong? Like, you're proving to me that psychics are not real by being on this show, Donna. Okay.
Exactly. That was my one note. I was like, when she flops on this show, which it seems like she's going to flop. Based on spoilers, guys, after 2 episodes, it looks like she's flopping. Yeah, I'm never going to go to this psychic medium to like get anything, because she's like, I can tell the past, the future, the ghosts. And I'm like, okay, so can you tell who's the traitors? Like, what is going on here?
Spoiler alert, not yet, clearly.
Exactly.
Yeah, Donna's a mess, and we have a lot to say about Donna coming up. We also have a magician. His name is Mike. So we have a magic Mike, a literal magic Mike on the cast, which we'll talk about him because, spoiler, he ends up being a traitor. Sounds like he like I don't know if he's like a David Blaine type of like illusionist or whatever, but he's pretending to be more of like this card trick guy. But it sounds like he trained military members and people in the CIA, which I don't really understand, but okay, I guess good for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Don't really know.
I don't know how I feel about magicians in general. Like,
me neither. Yeah, like I'm good on a magician.
Exactly.
You could
like,
stay over there.
I'm not gonna yell people's you like what you believe what you believe, but like magicians are not for me. Let me just say that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Put them in the box with like clowns and like I'm good. Like over there is good. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. I also wrote that the cast seems kind of savage, even though they're mostly normal people. Like it feels like they came to play, which I know you said earlier. And I really like that in the interviews about people being traitors, which I don't remember if we got that in the US.
That's what I was
because
gonna
we
ask
did
you.
get it in the UK, and I love that because it feels like we get to know the cast a little bit better. Almost all of them were like, yeah, I'll lie. I don't care. I don't know these people. And like, that is what I want.
Yes, that's what I want to hear. Speaking my language.
Yes, it's great. So we end up with Melissa B., who is a civilian, as a traitor. We have Queen Kuzi, who came here for the deception. We love Kuzi. We watched Big Brother Canada season 10, 11?
She was
10 and 11. 10? Yeah.
No, 11. The most recent one was 11.
Yes, the most recent one was 11.
Kevin
but we
won
watched
10.
it. We covered, yes, Kevin won 10. We loved Kuzi there, and I'm very excited to see her as a traitor. And we have our friend Magic Mike, the magician, as a traitor. So only 3 traitors.
When I saw Mike as a traitor, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be bad." I foresee a Christian level from US 1.
Yeah,
Magic is magic. Mike is gonna crash and burn in a similar sense.
So I thought the same thing, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. The way we left off with episode 2 of Mike, and obviously we'll get there, I'm intrigued. I'll say that. I'm a little bit intrigued by him, but this is an interesting group of traitors. I feel like we were either going to get the psychic or the magician as a traitor, so I'm not surprised. And I think they kind of kept the same formula as US. We got, oh no, Cody was a
no, we had
so we had 2 reality stars for US and 1 civilian. Now we have 2 civilians and 1 reality star. But I kind of like this group so far, although it seems like everybody already knows Melissa's a traitor.
Yeah, that was like
off the bat.
So fast. It was insane when they started talking right away. When they said that like she was like sweating a lot when she took off her blindfold, I was like, wow, some of you people are very aware of things. I was shocked at how fast they were clocking Melissa.
Yeah, and it seemed like it all really started with Kevin. And Kevin Martin won Big Brother Canada, but also is a professional poker player. And it sounds like he's like, I read people. That's what I do as a poker player. I'm able to read people's reactions. And like immediately off the bat, I saw. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know so much. Like, it seems like Mike also was kind of like suspicious of Kevin because of this poker player energy he had, which is interesting because you would think that people would be more like, oh, he won Big Brother. Like, we got to get this guy out. Yeah. But it's more like, oh no, he's a poker player. And he like, convinces people of something basically as his job, which I thought was interesting that was more of a threat than being a Big Brother winner.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't know if these people have watched at Big Brother US, but it just reminded me of like when Vanessa was a poker player, and I feel like I agree, like a poker player is something that would be a bit like scared of. Like poker players, like they're like, that's kind of like what they do every day. And if you like follow Kevin, like Kevin be making bank on Twitter, at least he'd be posting like, I made this much bank, and he'd be posting his Twitch streams and stuff. So it seems like Kevin is actually a pretty good poker player. So like if it were me as someone who like follows like these reality TV stars, I would right away also be kind of scared of like someone who is a poker player.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's interesting. And I'm kind of surprised we don't see more professional poker players on reality TV, because it feels like it would be almost a transferable skill to deceive people. So casting, let's cast some poker players on Big Brother and Survivor and see how it goes. We also had a clip of Mai, who is from MasterChef. She seems interesting. I'm not familiar with her, but I feel like she's really there to play the game. She wanted to be a traitor. She is not, obviously, but she says that her strategy is to keep information really close to her chest, because if you put people's names out there and you happen to say a traitor's name, then that gives them incentive to murder you. Do you feel like this is a good strategy from Mai, or do you feel like that will actually, at the end of the day, make her a little bit more suspicious seeming?
So just first, I will say I agree with you. Like I wrote in my notes, like I really liked Mai. Like I'm liking her energy. I'm liking that she came in to be kind of a gamer, and we get like some confessionals of her saying, people are not going to assume that I'm like a gamer because I come from MasterChef. It's not a social strategy show like all of these other shows.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that she's aware of that. But I kind of agree with Mai. I think especially at first in the season, like you kind of just want to grab information, especially if you're not a trader, and she's not a trader. So, when you're not a trader, I feel like you have to play a more passive game at first and kind of collect more information before you finally start throwing out names. Because I feel like we saw this in the US version, and I'm sure it probably happen in like the other international versions, where the loud ones who start saying names, etc. If you start being wrong, you're going to start getting targeted. So I do actually think that's a good strategy from mine. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll work up to a point. I think eventually she's going to have to. Otherwise, people might think you are a traitor and you just don't want to share any information or say anything because you don't want the suspicion on you. So I think it's a balance. But we do see a clip from Kevin or a confessional from Kevin saying like, I'm here to play. I'm going to be super aggressive. I'm playing hard. And that to me is a really bad strategy for the traitors because like you said, the loud people are going to go first, whether they get murdered or people are going to vote them out because they're playing too hard. So we kind of saw it with Kyle last season. I feel like Kyle was not super loud, but he was, or that guy who like threatened Kate to vote someone out. What was that guy's name? Who was like the Big Brother fan? I forget his name from season 1 of the US. The civilian. Yeah, he was like the first or second out. But like he did the same thing where he was just like super loud and made a spectacle of himself. And lo and behold, he got voted out early. So interesting. Melissa B. Yeah, I know we talked about it a little bit already, but kind of a mess. I don't see her lasting too long as a traitor, but we'll see what happens. And then pre-mission, we also see Erica and Kuzi and Kevin kind of making a little bit of a pact to stick together, which I'm actually not mad about because it seems like they're all meeting each other, not necessarily for the first time, but like I said earlier, don't have this pre-existing connection where they're never going to go against each other. It's more like, you look out for me, I'll look out for you. If I hear your name, I'll let you know. I like that rather than like, well, I know this person and I know they would never be a traitor. So like, what did you think about this reality team?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I wrote in my notes, like, I don't hate it. I think it's a smart idea to align yourselves with the other people who've played a similar type of game, like a similar social strategy game. I think it's gonna be, well, I guess we'll talk more about when we find out who gets murdered. I thought it was very interesting who got murdered first, given this alliance.
Yes,
I expected these three to like ride it out a little bit longer.
Yep.
So that was a bit shocking for me that one of them was murdered so early on. So maybe this alliance won't last very long.
Yeah, I guess not.
But I do think it is a smart idea. So
yeah.
I would have done a similar thing if I were in their shoes.
Totally. So we get to the mission. I had a question here for you on if we think the missions are going to matter. And this is before I knew what the mission was. Do you think the missions are going to matter this season, or do you think they're going to be more inconsequential? Then I saw what the mission was, so I kind of feel like I got my answer. But when you saw them driving up into that quarry, what were you kind of thinking? Did you think like, oh, this is new and different, and maybe this will be good? Or,
well, I honestly thought this is gonna, because I'm still annoyed from the US version where these missions would happen, and let's say they got 10K out of the 20K. By the end, they ended up getting all the money anyway.
Yes, I know.
So I just got I already walked in with an annoyed energy that whatever, this is gonna be another pointless mission. Even if they don't get all the money they do, by the end they're gonna have a chance to get all the, I think it's 100K they're competing for this season.
100K.
So yeah, I had low expectations, especially after hearing, like, I didn't watch the international versions, but from hearing from you and Carrie talking, like, it doesn't seem like even there the missions mattered much. Yeah. So I didn't think they would change the formula that much. So I wasn't that shocked.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, like I said earlier, I didn't watch New Zealand season 1. I haven't yet watched Australia season 2, but Australia season 1 did have different missions, but UK and US were exactly the same. And it looks like we are getting the same thing in Canada. which is truly mind-boggling because I don't know why anybody would think we want to watch these boring missions that mean nothing 3 times. So I really hope that US season 2 switches things up a little bit and at least makes the missions matter a little bit more. Like eventually they play for I forget what they call it, but like immunity basically, where they can't get murdered. So that does end up kind of mattering, but in the early game, like you said, it's either they win it or eventually at the end of the day, they're going to get the money anyway. That's what has happened so far. So I don't know. But this mission, it was tweaked a little bit. In US season 1, they were on kind of like a riverside, I guess, and they had to bring some supplies back from a boat. But in this season, they're in a rock quarry and they have to find pieces and attach them and then light something on fire to basically. And in this one, they had to run up a hill. In the US, they had to row a boat. The hill was 1 kilometer away, which I had to look up to see for us Americans what that means in miles, and it's 0.6 miles. So does that seem like a lot to you or a little bit? Because I don't know. Are you a runner? Are you not a runner? I mean, no judgment either way.
I'm not the most athletic person, but I feel like if you jog it lightly, 0.6 miles shouldn't be that. Because isn't a mile like 20 blocks?
Oh.
I think 1 mile is like 20 blocks.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. I mean, that seems right.
So 0.6 blocks, it's like 14, 15, like I think it's doable.
Yeah. I mean, when I was like, oh, a kilometer, I guess that's a lot. And then I was like, oh no, that's actually less than a mile. I was like, what are these people like crying about? It's less than a mile. I mean, if you're on the challenge, you're running like 20 miles in like a daily challenge. So yeah. So I don't know, maybe my mindset is tweaked a little bit, but like, I don't know, it didn't seem that bad, but they were really all not happy about this run. I could see coming down the hill, carrying awkward things could be weird, but I don't know. They had a lot of time to do it. It was, I don't know. I did write that it looked freezing outside and Fierce was in a tank top and a skirt running up the hill, which I thought was iconic. So love that from Fierce.
Exact same. I wrote like Fierce is committed if she's going to do all these challenges, which we learned in episode 2. She is not going to always be in drag, which I'm glad for her sake because doing all this in drag seems like it would be a lot. Too much. Let's just say that.
Yes, exactly. And I specifically wrote that like all the biggest guys volunteered to do like the second half of the run and they were almost like complaining more than the women who were running at first. And I'm like, guys, it's really only 0.6 miles. Like it's there and back. So like it's 0.6 miles there and then 0.6 miles back. So fine. But still, it's not that, I don't know. You guys definitely run more than that at the gym. Stop crying about it.
Unless that thing was super duper duper heavy like that. Because the detonator, it looked pretty big.
That did look pretty big. But there were 4 of them carrying it. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever. I'm just saying.
I mean, we saw at the end, right? One of them, Trayvon. Oh, Trayvon. Yeah.
Totally face planted, and then the medics were like, "Do you have any conditions?" And I'm like, "Shouldn't you guys have asked that during casting?" I don't know. Seems a little late.
Y'all should know if he's asthmatic. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. I don't know. Yeah. So he had asthma, and they got the money, 20K. They won 20K from this challenge. Not too much drama here. I thought maybe we were going to get a little bit something because one of the civilians, I forget exactly who said it in the confessional. I think it was the other Melissa, maybe. So I'm still learning their names, but said like, well, why would you volunteer if you're asthmatic? Which, good question. But that led to nothing. Yes, I think it was Melissa A. That led nowhere. So nothing came from this challenge, essentially, other than 20K. So after the mission, everybody's really coming for Kevin because Kevin apparently went around to everybody saying like, you're my number one and I really trust you, which like, Kevin, what are we doing here?
Come on.
What are you doing?
Did you not play Big Brother twice? Twice, brother.
Hello. I know. I just don't understand. Like, what are you thinking?
That's rule number 1. You do not tell everyone because then you're no one's number 1 and they're going to compare notes. Come on.
Which is exactly what they did. Yeah. And everyone was like, I really thought he had a genuine connection with me, but everyone's like, guess not. Except Rick, I'm keeping my eye on Rick. Rick was a Much Music back in the day DJ. I don't know if Much Music still exists, but we used to get it in the US as like a random channel. And he came to play, Rick, even though he's just like a VJ and like a radio DJ. He goes to Kevin and he spills everything. He's like, everybody's talking shit about you basically. And he's like, what, me? Like, oh, and he's like, but I want to work with you because I choose to believe it was genuine. So I could see him sticking with Kevin for a little while, but Rick does a lot in the second episode too. And I don't know how long Rick is going to be with us, but he's giving some good TV so far.
Yeah, no, I also wrote about Rick. Like, he's giving me like the rat gameplay, which people, I feel like is very polarizing gameplay, at least when it comes to Big Brother. Like the rats, you know, like hate a rat gameplay or not, it can work to your advantage a lot of times. And we've seen that kind of gameplay get you far in Big Brother. So that's most of my experience with social reality TV shows. So I do think it can get Rick far, but I think it'll only help him if he becomes close to one of the traitors. Like being a Kevin rat is not going to help you. They're going to want to kill you because then but being like a Kuzi rat or a Mike the Magician rat, that can help you get far in the game. So I agree with you. Unless he starts ratting to the right people, then that's going to come back to bite him in the ass. That's how I feel about Rick's gameplay.
Totally. What I would actually love to see, you kind of just sparked a thought in me, is that I would love to see someone finding out who the traitors are, or at least one of the traitors, and just like buddying up with them and not voting them out right away, just to make sure they stay safe. And like, I would love to see this kind of game of chicken happen. I don't know if we'll ever really see that or if it makes sense from a gameplay perspective, but just from a TV perspective, I would love to see like someone figure it out and then kind of like blackmail them. That would be fun.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. But at the same, in the same light, right? If you know that I'm a traitor, that next night,
yeah, you're dead.
I'm gonna kill you before you can tell anyone.
Yes, so. I'm killing you.
But I do agree with you. That would be a cool relationship to see. I wonder. I feel like that could be like a twist they can add, like kind of like we've seen like America's Vote and stuff like that. Like a twist where like you have to work with the traitor to make XYZ amount of money. You know, maybe that'll convince someone to possibly do that. I feel like that's the only way that twist can really work.
Or if they just like continuously win that. I do not remember the name of it, but the immunity thing where they can't get murdered. Like if you continuously win that, like Ari won it last season almost every time, and you know who the traitors are, like you're kind of sitting pretty and you can use them to your advantage. But what are the odds of that really happening? Probably slim. We see Donna having the first of many meltdowns. She kind of like gives this speech and she's like, I want the faithfuls to win and I might be going home, but you all might be going home. And I don't know, Donna's already doing too much and she's like barely gotten started at this point.
For real. Yeah. Same. I started cracking up when Donna was having a meltdown already. I was like, come on, you're even if you're not a traitor, though people having meltdowns, I'm going to just want them out the game too. And so it's just not good gameplay on any front of it. And she needs to talk to her spirits and
I know, channel whatever it is in you.
Get her foot in the game because right now she has one foot out the door. So
yes, and you're so right. Like even if you're not a traitor and you're just annoying, I'm gonna vote you out. Like I don't want to listen to you crying all the time. I'm gonna vote you out.
Exactly. So,
we now get the reveal of the traitor. So up until this point, we know who the traitors are, but the traitors do not know who each other are, which I think is interesting because everybody's having conversations and they're all observing each other. So they all have their own thoughts, but they don't know that nothing is confirmed yet. They only know that they themselves are the traitor. So Mike is the first one that goes into the room. Then we see Kuzi and he's like shocked to see Kuzi. And he said he wasn't expecting it, but he's really excited, which I love for Kuzi because knowing Kuzi from Big Brother Canada thinks she'd be a great traitor, and I would assume that they would have made either her or Kevin a traitor. They made her a traitor. I wouldn't have been totally shocked, but he was like totally shocked and was like, "You're gonna be on." Like, I'm so excited. Yeah. And he acts a little shocked about Melissa, but Kuzi is like, "No, I knew immediately that it was you." So Melissa's
like, "Oh, we were already talking about you, girl. Like, this is not good."
Yes, she spills that Melissa's name is out there, and Melissa's like, by who? And Kuzi does keep, because Kevin was really pushing Melissa to everybody. But Kuzi does not say it was Kevin. Kuzi's like, well, it was a couple of groups, which I don't know. I've played a couple of orgs in my day, and that is very much that like, oh, I don't know. It was like some room and there were people in it, but I don't know who it was. Like if names are being dropped. So Kuzi, we've all been there if you've played those kind of games. But
which I wrote down, like Melissa clocked that. We had like a DR of Melissa saying, they're not telling me everything, which honestly shocked me that Melissa was that perceptive. I was like, okay, maybe Melissa does have a gamer brain because I feel like someone from season 1 whose names I will not say, who were misted by Sari, they would have never clocked that. They would have been like, never. Oh, no, Sari's telling me everything, or Kuzi in this case is telling me everything. But that gave like a point for me in my brain to Melissa, like, okay, maybe Melissa can pivot and somehow last longer into the game if she can tell these, like, these cues that I feel like someone might miss. So I actually like that Melissa got that.
I like that too. And I think, Melissa, as much as I think can't really hide the fact that she's a traitor really well, if she could, I think her reads are okay. And I think she's there to really play the game. I think it's just like she has to kind of control her emotions and her reactions, because obviously people are already onto her. I think she's overthinking maybe a little bit and is in her head about the fact that she is a traitor and is trying to hide it. But her gameplay so far is not bad. So, and I know she's one of the ones in the traitor interviews, or whatever we'll call them, who was like, I want to be a traitor. Like, I want to play the game. So I'm kind of excited. I hope that she can get some of the suspicion off of her. But my immediate thought when she took off her hood is that Kuzi and Mike are going to team up against Melissa and get her out of it. Or just like throw her to the wolves. Yeah, because she's an easy. Yes, they will sacrifice her as soon as the time is right. Which I think is right. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's already some suspicion on her. Just to save our asses, let's just put all the suspicion on her.
Exactly. And this is really close to the end of the first episode. We don't get the murder reveal at the end, but Kevin's name is out there. Erica's name is out there. Mike does spill to Kuzi that Kevin was like, oh yeah, Kevin came up to me and was like, meanwhile, Mike this whole episode has been like Kevin. So I'm not surprised that he's bringing Kevin's name up at this, I don't know what it's called, the deliberation for murder. But he's basically like, well, he came up to me and said like, he wants to work with me. Our connection's really genuine. And Kuzi seems genuinely shocked that she got snowed by Kevin. And this is where I was like, oh, okay, this reality TV alliance is not lasting at all, because Erica's name comes up and she's like, I don't know if I want to get rid of Erica just yet. But then it seems like she learned Kevin was kind of like double playing her a little bit. And it seems like maybe that whole thing went out the window, which we'll find out next episode that it does. What were your thoughts of episode 1? We ended on a cliffhanger.
So I don't like ending on a cliffhanger, but it happened in season 1 of US. Like, I guess it's gonna happen. It is what it is. But no, I like season 1. I think there's a lot of fun characters. The Donnas, the Magic Mikes, the Melissas. Rick seems to be an interesting player. Mai seems to be an interesting player. So I think like we have. I left episode 1 being optimistic that we're gonna have some gamers here and there's actually gonna be some solid gameplay. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed episode 1. How about you?
Yeah, no, I totally feel the same. I was getting the vibe from the internet, like I said earlier, just like the international casts. I feel like the civilians kind of embody some of that same casting that made those casts really good, which the US cast did not have. They were a mess from start to finish. Other than the reality stars, obviously, but it was just such a disparity between the skill and the gameplay that it just, as iconic as Suri is, I almost feel like, not that it took away from her win, but like, of course she was going to win and beat those people. They were a mess. Where here, I think it's anybody's game. And that's what I like to see. I feel like everybody's there to play. Nobody's getting snowed by the reality people. It's like, oh no, we're beat down, we're ready to play as soon as we get off that boat.
Agreed.
Which I love. Cool. So also, yes, I agree with you. I don't love ending on a cliffhanger. I actually kept these 2 episodes. I was traveling, so I didn't get a chance to watch them until today. And I know you know that, but I got to watch them back to back. And I think if I ended episode 1 on a cliffhanger and had to wait a full week, I would be annoyed. Because UK's airing schedule is a little different. They had a few episodes a week. US put all the episodes out on Peacock in one day, so it's like you could just binge it. So I think I would have been a little bit annoyed if I had to wait a full week until the following Monday to watch, which is kind of where we'll be this week, but that's okay.
I agree, but I will have to say this is, in my opinion, better than the Peacock strategy. Like I remember when they dropped those all, I like to have because we wanted a podcast about it, and like I also wanted to enjoy it, like and I like binging shows, but there's a limit. Like I have a life outside of this, so. I was happy that maybe 2 a week would be nice.
I think twice a week that'd be the happy great. Medium. Yeah, or like give us a Big Brother 3 times a week or something, like every other day, whatever. But I think once a week is great. Everything in one day. I mean, I had to stay off social media for like a week because I was watching them in chunks because we were talking about them. Yeah, that was a mess. It was a mess. I hope they do not do that with season 2. We will see. Jumping into episode 2, we open right to breakfast. And this is where, again, I'm questioning myself because I was like, okay, this is definitely the same mansion. They were up in this whatever it is where they're planning their murders, the traitors, looks the same to me. Then they're in this kitchen. I'm like, okay, this is a different kitchen. So, or wherever they're eating, dining room. So I'm like, where are we at the same place? Or are we not? I guess I could look it up, but I just want to try and figure it out on my own. And I cannot figure it out. I'm like totally snowed by this castle. Is it the same or is it not? I really don't know.
For me, it's the we'll get into it later. For me, it's the challenge this episode. It just all looks the same as the burial challenge in season 1 of the US. Yes. So that makes that like pushes me towards it's probably the same area and they just changed the layout of the house, you know? Like let's change it up. Maybe it's a different like bit.
Castle or something. I don't know, but that's a good point. I was excited to be back at breakfast. I love opening these episodes with breakfast. This is some of my favorite Traitors stuff happens during breakfast. So it was great to open the episode there. We have some chatter. People are coming in. Nothing super, consequential, but Kevin, Erica, and Mai are the last 3 in. And I was like, no, I want all 3 of these people to stay here. I don't want one of these 3 people to leave. I was so upset.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I was very sad at that, but I was also, it was interesting. I felt like they kept all the reality TV stars for the last like 2 groups, which I wondered why they did that. I don't know. I feel like if I were in the game, that would make me think like, are these the people being suspected?
Right.
Like, are these the people, or are these the people the traitors are trying to kill, Like if Mai, Kevin, and Eric are the last 3, I'm thinking, are the traitors trying to kill Mai and Kevin since Erica's murdered? So I didn't like how they did that. I wish that they would release them and like they would throw like the doctor person, I forgot her name, like at the end, someone who was not in the deliberations at all, to kind of like, because I feel like in these kind of games you use anything and any little idea can just, you just run with it. So I definitely didn't like how they released the surviving people.
Yeah, I don't love that either. And I feel like that's been, I think maybe we talked about this in US also, because you're right. I feel like, especially in a game like the Traitors where you really don't have much to go off of at all, you're just going based on like your perception. Everybody's going to have to be reading into that. So it just feels like, I don't know, either one of the last people in are going to be a traitor or those people are always going to be up on the block, we'll call it, to get murdered. But I agree with you. I don't know how they can really fix it, but I do think they have to be a little bit more strategic on how they bring the people into the breakfast. Mai comes in alone, so we know either Kevin or Erica is leaving us. And Mai calls out I think it was in a confessional, that she would also kill one of these 2 people first because they both are winners of strategic reality games. And I feel like this is why we can't have nice things of people who are reality show players and civilians, because even though Maya is not a civilian, she's not like from the Big Brother Survivor world and didn't win a large sum of money. And we get into the money thing later too. I hate this.
I can't wait till we discuss this.
I hate this. Just because somebody won a game or somebody has more money, we shouldn't use that as a reason to like eliminate them. I just hate that kind of gameplay. So I was a little bit bummed out to hear that from Maya. And like, that's exactly why I feel like we can't have civilians and like strategic reality players playing together, because everybody's going to think that way. And Erica, unfortunately, is the one who ends up leaving. And of course, she just won $1 million on Survivor. Of course, she's going to be the first one murdered. Like, hello. But we do get an iconic line from her. And she just says, I guess I just have to go home and cry into my $1 million and I'll be okay. And I'm like, okay, queen. Okay.
I was like, she ate that. She ate that one thing. Yes, I would have said the same thing. She made, these people are fighting for 100K. Boo-hoo. I got $1 million.
Yeah, I have $1 million at home. I'm good.
I love that.
I love that too. But she says we had scared traitors. And I kind of agree here, is that she was a little bit of an easy out.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about killing Erica first. But my other thing with this is that I feel from the deliberations, I didn't quite understand why they killed Erica first.
Yeah, me neither.
I thought they were going to kill like Mai or Kevin. To me, from those, that they felt more likely to be killed than Erica. Because like Erica, I mean, no tea, no shade to Erica, but she didn't really say much the first episode. No. Like she was just chilling. No one was suspecting anything about her. So it just felt like a weird person to kill first to me. So
Yes.
that's kind of what threw me a little bit for a loop. So that I do agree with Erica, I guess, to an extent, that they were playing a little scared, but also I also don't really understand why they killed Erica.
Yeah, I would like to know the rationale behind it a little more too, because I don't feel like we really got a ton of it from them. Like we saw, like you said, more conversation about Kevin and Mai, where I understand, like, okay, Mai's probably going to get herself into trouble. She talks a lot. Like, we'll let her, you know, kind of bury herself, and maybe we could vote her out at a round table. But it just feels like, I don't know, maybe they could have used Erica, especially Kuzi, used Erica's information to her advantage a little bit. It just seemed a little too early. Like, Erica didn't need to go at this point. I would have liked to have seen what Erica could do on this game. So I'm a little bit bummed that she's already gone.
Yeah.
We then get a confessional from Kevin, and he's like, I'm just going to shut up and fade into the background. And I'm like, okay, great. That's great. I'm glad you woke up and decided not to be a super aggressive game player and just pipe down a little bit, because then you'll probably stay here a little bit longer, Kevin, which is great.
Because he didn't even play Big Brother like that. Like, he was never a super aggressive, strategic mastermind 24/7. Like, you know.
Yeah,
So
he came in hot.
It was weird why he wanted to play that way. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's like, hold on.
Yeah. So. Yeah. He woke up and he woke up on the right side of the bed.
Exactly.
Our host, what's her name? Karine, asks for 6 volunteers. And then she says, there's going to be 3 groups. And I was like, okay, they're getting buried. And I was like, I can't believe we're doing this burial challenge. As soon as she said, we need the volunteers, and then we're breaking up into 3 groups, I was like, these people are getting buried alive. Javier, I cannot watch this again. This is the 3rd time that I have watched this exact same challenge. I can't do it again. I skipped through it. I didn't fast forward through the whole thing, but I did skip through it because I cannot watch this same challenge over and over again. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. I was like, oh gosh, here we go again. Yeah. Like, there go another 15 minutes of my life. Let me put this at 1.8 times.
Exactly. I was just
so
like,
we can
forward 10.
Yeah.
10. Oh, okay, someone's talking. I'll listen to that. Okay, no. Okay, we can keep going.
Exactly.
Which is not great when you're on your first season of a show and people are already skipping through your challenges, but what can you do? I will say, though. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we do get some interesting conversation on the way to the mission.
Yes,
like in the car.
That's what I was going to say, is that those parts are important.
Exactly,
so
agreed.
Watch those parts for sure.
Yeah. No, I was just going to bring up the Melissa B's car, because I thought that was an interesting car, because I don't remember who was everyone in the car with her, but we start hearing someone's name, and we start hearing Colin's name get thrown out. I don't remember who says it in the car, but Melissa B, we got a good confessional from Melissa B saying, oh yeah, like, I'm going to fan these flames. Like, even though Melissa B at the breakfast, she was like, okay, I'm going to try to take it back, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But in this moment, I agree. That's like the best move. You know, if you hear a name being thrown out, just be like, oh yeah, I heard the same thing.
Yes.
Colin did this, that, and the third. So I really like that gameplay from Melissa B again there. So.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think what had happened was that Rick asked Colin in the morning if he thought that if he were a traitor, if he would have murdered Erica. And Colin said no, Erica would be the last person I would murder. But the day before, he said he didn't want anyone winning the money who didn't need it. So it contradicted what he said. A lot of things get spun around with Colin in this episode, because I guess he talks a lot. And so I was like, what's going on? Okay, so he said that he didn't want people who already had money to win, but then he said he wouldn't get rid of Erica. I don't know that that's a full contradiction of what he said. I mean, like, he could still get rid of Erica if he were a traitor, maybe just not first.
Exactly, like eventually.
Yes. But I did write down in my notes that Rick and Melissa, or Mike and Melissa, are both in the car when this happened. So I think Mike maybe was driving and Melissa's in the back seat. And I wrote down that this is huge ammo for them to throw Colin under the bus if they want to. Like, this is great. There's already momentum on someone else, and it's not them. And that's what you want. Like, someone else is already throwing themselves under the bus, so you don't even need to do much work other than like keep the heat off of you. So that was great.
Agreed.
Then we've got some graves. We knew it. There's some creepy guys in masks to amp up some of like the creepy vibes. Karine giving us more fashion again, which I love to see. Anything about this challenge? I mean, the blue team does not make it. Terrible. They get lost. Yeah. Terrible. A mess. I honestly, unfortunately, I know Donna is the one buried from the blue team. I know Melissa is on the team, Melissa B. And I don't remember who else, unfortunately. I didn't write down who was on each team, but they did not make it. So they only got $6,000 instead of $3,000.
Yeah. Or they
That
got
was-
3K instead of 6K.
Oh yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or I think they got 6K but left 3K on the table.
Yeah, because
So it was a total of yes. We got there. But
math.
yeah, math.
The only thing that I wanted to mention though, is that I mean, this is just a funny confessional. We got a funny confessional from Donna, who was one of the people buried. She goes like, "I know I'm a medium, but I'm afraid of the dark."
I wrote that down actually.
and when
I'm
I
like, do mediums practice in the dark? Like, I don't understand what one thing has to do with the other.
But listen, Katie, the way that I started laughing, like I genuinely paused the episode and I was like, "What?" First of all, like you don't always have to. I mean, I'm not a medium. I don't know any psychic medium, but I don't think you have to be in the dark 24/7.
I don't think so either. Like, I don't understand how those two things are related at all, and I totally wrote that down.
But I guess like I feel like if you watch like I mean the movies or TV shows or things that I've watched with mediums, they do sometimes hire mediums like we think this house is haunted, so let's go at like 11 p.m. So maybe that's what you were alluding to. Sometimes they hire mediums to go to these haunted houses at random times. But either way, I thought it was really funny when she said that.
I was just like, ma'am, what are we doing here? I just don't understand. I actually wrote like, do mediums practice in the dark? I don't like, that's my question. I don't know. It was,
someone in the comments, let us know.
Yeah, if anybody's a medium, let us know if you often practice in the dark and if those two things are related in any way whatsoever. I did say also that hearing the dirt fall on the casket would be enough. Like if I were buried, would be enough for me to just be like, all right, I'm out. Like just my team's done. I'm not doing this. Like fuck that. I don't think there's any rational thought that would be in my brain saying that I'm not going to die and that like suffocate in that moment.
Yeah. I would not want to be the buried person at all. Nope, would not volunteer. I guess they didn't know because they just volunteered at the breakfast. Like they were like 6 volunteers, and everyone was like, "I want to go." So they didn't know.
Well, they should have known from the day before when they had to run up a hill and everybody was crying and they volunteered that like maybe you don't want to volunteer.
Yeah, maybe you don't. Exactly.
Let's just not volunteer. But that's really it. I mean, nothing, the challenge for anyone who either didn't watch or just wants us to explain it is basically they have 3 team members. There's 3 teams. Their team members are buried under the ground. They have clues in there to help them find it. They have to follow a map to get a walkie-talkie, and then they have to figure out where they are to dig them up. That's basically it. If you dig up everybody, you get the money. If you leave people under there, you leave some money on the table. Our blue team did not save poor Donna. Poor Donna was the last one left buried, and she's scared of the dark. And they left 3K. That's pretty much it. I really am just shocked again that they didn't make any changes to this challenge. I'm just shocked. And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I don't know. I'm just surprised.
They could have done anything. I don't know what, but just anything different,
Anything different. After the mission, Rick is pushing Colin hard. He's super confident. He's like, we're going to make Traitors history. We're getting Traitors on the first night. Which I'm like, okay, relax, first of all. And then I think that means they watch the show, right? So like, I don't know. They have to know that these challenges are coming then too. Maybe they didn't watch the show, who knows? But I was just like, oh, they've seen the show. But this is where things get weird because Fierce comes in and spins up this whole story. And I'm confused. So basically what it sounds like... I was hoping
you were going to explain it to me, Katie.
What
I'm going to hear your side, and then I'm going to share what I understood, and hopefully we can come to
maybe we can match stories.
Exactly.
Okay. So Colin went up to Donna and said, people are saying your name. We saw it. People are saying your name. I'm worried about you. Whatever. Like, your name's out there. And I care, and I want to try and talk to people and get the heat off of you. Then we hear that he also said the same thing to somebody named Dom, who I didn't even know existed until this very moment. First, I thought he was saying Don. So I was like, there's a Don and a Donna, but no, it's a guy named Dom, who's also a civilian on the cast, who I don't know if he was even on the show up until this point. And they said the same, that Colin said the same thing to Dom, but Dom didn't want to go talk to anybody because he just didn't want to. So somehow Rick, I guess, is like, oh, well, you went up to, I'm lost already. I'm already lost from the story, and I wrote some notes, but Dom is like, no, I was there for the conversation, but she didn't say that to me. And Donna was like, I thought you said that he said that to you. And it was all Donna making a big miscommunication out of the whole thing. But Fierce stirred the pot and said basically, like, Colin is saying all of these things to all these people. saying like, your name is out there, you should go save yourself. But really, he only said it to Donna, and it was true, but Donna mixed up the story. But Fierce was like, we're getting Dom, and then we're getting Donna. And then it was like this whole like, oh, I thought you said it. Which I'm like, Donna, you're a fucking psychic. What's your problem? Like, what is wrong with you? You should know that that's not what happened. You saw the past, present, and future.
Negative credibility for Donna.
Literally zero.
Negative
Zero.
credibility.
Yes. I mean, I know I left a lot of details out because this was going on for like a full 10 minutes. And I was just like, what is actually happening here? What did you get from this story?
Yeah. So I think you pretty much got what I got. So my understanding was that Collins told Donna, like, Donna, they're going to target you. But Donna, for some reason, thought that Collins meant Dom was going to be the target.
Or like said the same thing to both of them.
Both of them, yeah. So that was where the confusion came from.
And Dom was like, Donna, I never said that. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't know, but either way, it made me very happy though, because this is why I like Fierce. Like it felt very like Big Brother, like let's call a house meeting.
Yes.
Fierce ran outside, like, Donna, come on in. The person next to Donna was like, wait, I'm coming in too. And everyone like grabbed it around it. You said this. No, I said that. And then you have Donna breaking down again. So the whole like, I didn't really understand where the miscommunication was, but I was living for the mess of it all.
Oh, I loved it.
10 minutes were just great, especially to see Fierce as the catalyst of it all. Oh man, it was just really good TV for me. Those 10 minutes.
It was really good. And then even like Fierce in the confessional was like, oops, guess I like made a mistake. Sorry. Or like outside, I was just like, this is truly so funny. And it was really giving house meeting, like Big Brother 10 style house meeting. Like it was good. I mean, not as dramatic, of course, but as Keisha's birthday, but it was fun. And this is like the messy fun TV that I love, when it's just like someone just like makes a stupid misunderstanding mistake and it just spirals out of control. Exactly. So this was fun. And we didn't get anything fun like this, in my opinion, in the US. Like we got a lot of like Kate mess, but like not like fun, playful, like oops.
Like exactly. I agree. I really loved it. Like I hope this is setting the tone for the rest of the season. I got very excited. I was like, oh yes, give me more of this. Give me more of this.
I want more mess. And I want it from everyone. I don't want it just from one or two people. I want it from everyone. Agreed. So now people are starting to take sides. Donna's crying. She's over the top. She's a mess. She's just a mess. And everyone is like, well, Donna is making a mistake, and like, no, but like, what did Colin actually say? And the votes are clearly going to be split at the round table between Donna and Colin, and Melissa B. Kevin out of the running to get votes. It seems like their names are floating around too. No one's even looking at them because of this, like, he said, she said between Donna and Dom and Colin. So we kick off the round table, and Colin jumps right in and it's like, I'm going to get it started. I think you're the traitor. And she has some crazy excuse where she's like, well, why would you want to save me? You don't even know me. And it seemed like 4 or 5 people came to Colin's defense and was like, no one knows anybody.
No one knows anyone.
If he were the traitor, why would he want to save you? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I thought it was curtains for Donna. But alas, Colin kind of buried himself here a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see Colin. So I guess it's kind of a question that I quickly want to discuss with us. If you know your name is out there, would you do what Colin did and open up the round table? Because I feel like I would just kind of like try to actually sit back at the round table, wait for someone to point at me. Because, you know, I feel like people forget things. Something in the moment seems like a really big deal. Like maybe this whole blow up seemed like a big deal in the moment. But maybe by the time the round table happened, this had smoothed over. You could have had some conversations. Wait for someone to point at you is how I would approach the round table.
Yes.
So I
agree.
Yeah. So that's where I thought Colin messed up. I would have let no shade to Donna, but she's been acting up these past 2 episodes. Let Donna come in here, start crying, start throwing this name and that name and you and this, and then people will have more distrust in Donna than you. So I thought Colin kind of messed up by being the first person to again speak up. You know, I felt like that put a bigger target on his back.
Yeah, I feel like in these situations, I think every game is different. Obviously, some games you probably want to play offense more than defense. But I think in the Traitors, at least for Colin in this moment, it felt like playing defense was maybe a better strategy because Donna's name was also out there. So you're making more of a target on yourself because just speaking up and being so loud at the beginning and also saying like, vote me out if you want. I'm a traitor. I mean, I'm a faithful. So like, I don't care. You'll see that when I stand up there. I get most people say that, but I don't know. It's just giving people an opportunity like Rick to come out and say, well, you actually said you don't want anybody who already has money to win the money. So like, you don't know what people are going to say. So just like sit back and let other people make a fool of themselves. So maybe you can then like jump on that and use that instead of opening yourself up to this firing squad, because you're already likely one foot out the door. Like, don't make it worse for yourself.
Something else that happened actually before the roundtable that I kind of want to bring up. Colin did something that like annoys me in reality TV. Like I get why people do it, but Colin started like swearing on his kids to everyone that like, I swear on my kids. I'm sorry. Like if I'm on a reality TV show, you can swear on your dead grandparent. Like I'm not going to believe you. I hate when people do that to think that that's going to give you more credibility. That's not going to give you more credibility, in my opinion. So I just wanted to bring up that Colin did that, and that like irked me because I really hate when people do that, because I don't think that gives you more credibility, even though I guess to some people it might. I just thought that I just wanted to bring up that kind of gameplay, which I think is just not good gameplay.
Yes, you're totally right. And I'm like, do we not know that like back in the early 2000s or whatever year Johnny Fairplay was on TV, he literally made up his grandma dying? Like people make up anything. Like maybe this man doesn't even have kids. If I don't have kids, if I'm on a reality show and I see someone as like a family person, I would be like, I swear on my children. I don't have children. You don't know me. You don't know if I have kids. You don't know if I have cats or dogs or what. You don't know anything about me. I could say whatever I want and swear on whoever I want. You wouldn't even know. I totally agree. And then everyone's like, take your sunglasses off. And I'm like, okay, this is so stupid. Like, this is just so stupid.
That makes it look sus, actually. So let's.
Yeah, I know everybody else has sunglasses on, but like you should take yours off because people need to see your eyes. It's like, oh my god. But yeah, Rick brings up the money thing, and this is the other thing that I hate about when people play games and they talk about money and like, well, you already have. We see this in Big Brother a lot on the feeds specifically. I don't really feel like they show it on the show that much, but a lot of people on Big Brother are like, this person has X amount of money, or like, this is their job. Like, they don't need this. And it's like, leave all that shit out the door. And like, Kevin kind of said the same thing of like, everybody has their own situation at home. Like, we're here to play a game. Let's play the game. Like, that shouldn't be a factor in like, well, I'm a doctor, so I have more money than this bus driver, which Colin is a bus driver. So like, he deserves to win more than me. Like, and even Colin was like, yeah, no, I mean, like, whoever plays the best game deserves to win, but also it'd be nice to give the money to someone who deserves it, or like needs it more. And it's kind of like, dude, please, if that were the case, like if that's the way the game was supposed to be played, they would have casted everybody from a similar economic background, but like I don't know, they did it for a reason. I don't feel like that should be part of a game. Shouldn't be part of Survivor. It shouldn't be part of Big Brother. It shouldn't be part of this. Like, it just should just be left at the door, which I know it's like human nature of like, well, this person has more than me, so like I deserve to win this. They already have money. You don't know what their situation is. You don't know what they're doing with that money. You don't know what their family life is like. Like, you really don't know. So I just hate that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you pretty much said everything I wanted to say about it. I really hate that kind of gameplay. Colin's like attempt to backtrack is like, well, now you have to pick a side at this point, because now you're just being flip floppy. Now I don't even want to like. I with Colin after that, it got to the point where like I just don't even want to listen to Colin anymore. Like, I'm gonna vote him out just because like he doesn't know what he's just gonna keep flip flopping on everything at this point. So I just wanted to vote. If I were them, I'd be like, let's just get Colin out of here. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just gonna keep saying things and then backing off and then saying I didn't say that. Happened with Erica. You know, like.
Yep.
It just was. I just think it was just all bad gameplay on Colin's part, just all terrible.
Yeah,
and
it was
I
really
liked.
bad.
I did like how Rick was on him though. I wrote that down. Like, Rick was on Colin, like Colin, blah 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 blah. I really like seeing that kind of like gameplay from Rick. And we talked about this in episode 1. Like, Rick seems to be someone who has a gamer mind on him. So I really did enjoy seeing Rick be the one leading the charge against Colin. Even though it's bad for his game because Colin's not a traitor. But either way, it was so good to see that gameplay from Rick.
Yeah, I am loving what we're getting from Rick. Even if he's just messy, so it's fun. Like, he's loud and wrong, but like at least he's fun and he's playing. Unlike Quentin, who was loud and wrong and was like, I don't know, was he playing? Was he not playing? I did write about Trayvon. He wrote like, I'm just gonna flip a coin and vote. And I'm like, please don't give me Andy and Quentin. Trayvon, and like, use your brain, please. Yes. So we'll see what happens. I know that his name was up at the end of the episode as someone to murder, so he might not even get the chance. But in episode 1, he's flopping in the challenge. In episode 2, he's just saying he's going to flip a coin. And I'm like, not with this cast, sir. Like, you got to play. It seems like they're playing. You got to play.
Exactly. Even if it's bad gameplay, like, I want to see you try. Like, do something.
Right. Yes, exactly. Just try. That's all we ask. Just try. The one thing I was also going to say, we don't have to talk anymore about Colin and whatever. I agree with what you were saying. I wouldn't want to play with someone like Colin either. I just feel like he's, what arbitrary thing is he going to use against me next week or tomorrow to say like, well, Katie wore her hair back in a bun and I don't like that. So I don't think she deserves, like, yeah, goodbye. So he gets voted out almost unanimously. There's a few people that don't vote for him. Kuzi is one of them. She votes for Donna.
Yeah.
I wrote down who voted for Donna. Crystal voted for Donna. Mary voted for Colin, but she was like, I already know I'm going to regret this vote. I know that this is basically wrong, but I just have to do it. Colin obviously voted for Donna. Nazila voted for Donna. Mike voted for Colin because he looked him in the eye. Did you catch this? He was like, you were like, well, Mike was going to vote for Colin anyway, but he was like, you said you didn't look people in the eye, and then you looked me in the eye and you said you weren't a traitor. So I'm like, what the hell?
That was a Colin type of thought. That was something that I feel like that's something Colin would have said, you know, like I was like, Mike, just vote. Like, just stop.
Yes. I don't know.
A dumb comment on like a reason to vote for someone. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah, just be like, dude, you talked yourself into a hole. I gotta vote for you. I'm sorry. Like at this point, there's no getting it. But no, you looked me in the eye. I don't know. I think that's it. She got a couple of votes, but really the majority went for Colin.
I wanted to ask you a question, actually. Yeah. I thought it was very interesting gameplay on Kuzi's part. It seemed like Kuzi was defending Collins, and I didn't really understand why she was saying, like, she out of nowhere was like, oh, actually, I don't think Colin's a traitor, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I felt it was very bizarre to me to see Kuzi defend Colin. How did you feel in that moment? Do you think she was doing it because she knew he's a faithful, so everyone would think she's a faithful if she supported you know what I'm saying? Supported a faithful? You know, I didn't understand that gameplay from Kuzi. Why she didn't just, like, sit back?
It is a good question. I feel like she did speak up maybe a little bit too much about Colin, but I thought some of her logic was like, I thought what Colin was saying did not make him look like a traitor. I just thought it was bad gameplay. Like, if I were sitting there, I really don't think I would have been like, oh, this guy's obviously a traitor. Yeah. Whereas I felt Donna saying like, well, why would you want to help me if you, and I was just like, what are you saying? Like, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. And I feel like that's when Kuzi was like, well, he doesn't know anybody and he was looking out for you. And that's what I thought the tides were turning a little bit against Donna, but it seems like not really. I probably, when I realized if I were Kuzi that there's no turning back and it's going to be Colin, I don't think I would have stuck with my Donna vote.
Same.
But yeah, I don't know. It is a little strange. But maybe she did think that it would get the heat off of her because at the end of the day, she'd be right. But also maybe that's not a good thing because you're going against the group because you know that he's like, you're the only one that really know. I mean, he got a couple of votes, but nobody was really, I mean, she got a couple of votes, but nobody was really vocally sticking up for Colin as much as Kuzi. You're right.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't really know why or what her thought process there was.
I hope it doesn't come back to bite her.
I hope not too. Colin goes to the Circle of Truth and he's like, no, I didn't know that it was called the Circle of Truth. Was it always called this?
I think it was, yeah.
It was? Okay. I didn't remember this. And lo and behold, Colin's a faithful. And Rick says in a confessional that he's going to go to wherever Colin lives and apologize to him in person, which I actually thought was really funny.
I agree.
And Mary's crying because she went with the groupthink of it all. But Mike feels great. Mike's like, this is the best case scenario. Erica's gone. We unanimously got Colin out because Erica leaving put suspicion on him. Like, Traitors feeling great. They're on top of the world. And we see Mike lighting cards on fire, giving messages. I'm like, okay, like, this guy's really on one right now.
I feel like this, I don't know, again, in this show, like any little thing can make you a target. Yes. I feel like him celebrating so hard to me would be like,
yeah,
hold on. Why are you so happy that we sent home a faithful? Is it because you were mad? You're happy because you didn't get caught because you're a traitor. So I just thought he should not have been that excited. That was I thought that was like bad gameplay because I think anything in this house we saw with the, like you mentioned, like take off your glasses, like literally any little thing.
Yeah, you looked me in the eye, so I'm voting you out.
So I thought it was bizarre to see him celebrate so much, being that he is a traitor. I was like, bro, I don't know if this is the gameplay. I foresee. I just feel like in episode 3 we're gonna get a floating head of someone saying that was weird, and then we're gonna get a little bit of suspicion on Mike. So I don't think he should have done that personally.
I don't think so either. And he also let it up with like, guys, I have to tell you, I'm not
Yes.
a magician. And I was like, what's he doing right now? And then he's like, just kidding. I got these cards. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on? And then he's lighting them on fire.
Yeah.
This was so bizarre. I totally agree with you. Like, you're way over the top. Why are you celebrating so much? You shouldn't even be celebrating. You should be like, oh man, we fucked up. Like, we got rid of a faithful. Like, we needed to get rid of a traitor. Yes, it's only the first round table, but like, you could also get murdered tonight. So why are you so celebratory? Oh, wait, you can't get murdered because you're a traitor. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I thought, it was just not. I don't think it was smart at all.
I don't think so either. I really hope you're right that someone picked up on it. And like, Kevin Martin's going to have to pick up on this, right? If anybody, or Rick's picking up on everything. So I'm like, how are you not going to pick up on that? I don't know. I hope so. Valencia in the chat, who we love, shout out to Valencia, says corny, and I agree. This man is corny as hell. He's like, I feel like the Godfather right now. These people are in my house, and I was like, whoa, okay, it's day one or whatever.
He's pulling a, you know, I'm already seeing the big head Christian energy from him. I'm seeing
You're right. He is pulling a Christian. You're totally right. I didn't see it before when you said it, and I see it now. Yes,
I see. I'm telling y'all, watch. He's gonna have the same crash and burn, and it's gonna be great. It was great to see Christian crash and burn. It's gonna be great to see Mike crash and burn by like episode 5. Watch y'all. I'm saying
honestly, nothing is better than watching the traitors like be their own downfall and crash and burn, especially when they're so annoying. Like I'm always rooting for the traitors. I'm really never rooting for the faithfuls for the most part. But when they crash and burn so hard, it's just so fun. It's just like, man, you really had it all. You had it all, and then you just couldn't handle it. Mai says after the roundtable 2 that everyone else had probably had another name in their mind, but they were too afraid to say it, which she's probably right. I mean, like, but why would you when there's so much momentum on someone else and it's not you? Like, there's no reason to, throw that stuff. Traders are celebrating in their little trader tower, and they really want to murder someone who's clearly faithful. So Trayvon's name gets thrown out because I think he's kind of getting the Quentin Andy, like, no one's going to think he's a traitor. He's just here for fun. Like, he's not really playing. But they also discuss maybe voting someone else someone out who was on the losing part of the team, which, yes, make the challenges have some kind of consequence at least. Like, if the traders are looking at it like, we need to win the money and you're dragging us down, like, maybe we'll vote someone out. So I think that was Nazila that they were thinking. And then they were also thinking Mickey, who's from The Amazing Race Canada, because everybody loves him. He was kind of, who did everybody love last season? Oh, Ryan Lochte, right? Everybody loved Ryan Lochte. He was like the happy-go-lucky bro. So they were like, maybe we should get rid of Mickey. No one's ever going to vote him out. He's never going to get suspicion. No one will know it's us. Like, we should go. And we ended another cliffhanger.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I was just happy that Kevin's name was up there again. Like, I'm gonna say it right now, moving forward, anyone listening, like, I'm gonna be rooting for Kevin. Do I think Kevin's gonna win this? Absolutely not. But I'm very excited for the Kevin versus Kuzi. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a glorious fight. I don't know who's gonna win. I love Kuzi also. I love Kevin. So just when that fight happens, and I want to see who wins, I'm gonna see who comes out on top. I'm so excited. So just letting y'all know, I'm gonna be rooting for Kevin.
Okay, well, good to know. I'm going to be rooting for Kuzi. We love Kuzi in this house.
Yes, I do love Kuzi too, but
yes. Sound Podcast loves Kuzi. She's come on with us before. We root for Kuzi and everything, but she's also great TV. I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah,
so I'm very excited to see, and I love that she's a traitor. So I'm excited to just see. I'm rooting for Kevin versus Kuzi, and I think that edit in episode 1 is setting us up. I think you're right. We're probably going to get
the edit is setting us up. Exactly. So may the best person win. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I have a couple of questions for you. Well, first, with this group of 3, who would you murder out of this group of 3? Or would this even be your group of 3?
This would probably not be my group of 3. Actually, I think this
it's not a bad group of 3.
It's not a bad group of 3. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, Erica was technically like a big name. So yeah, let's move it. Let's switch away. Let's also, if I were also like Kuzi, who's a reality TV star, also would not want to murder another reality TV star. So hopefully they don't murder Mickey, because I don't think that sets a good like precedent moving forward that they're gonna keep murdering the reality TV stars. So actually this 3 is not that terrible.
Yeah.
I think between Trevin and Dr. Nazila, I don't really have any,
Yeah.
horse in the battle. Like it is they whoever which either one of them gets murdered, I'll be like, okay, like it is what it is. I do think it's
Yeah.
smart. I do think no eyes are on them, and I think that it'll cause like more commotion in the house. So it's probably actually not a bad gameplay move from them to
Yeah.
kill one of those two.
I agree. I think Mickey, I hope they don't go that route. I think you're right. I don't think taking out reality TV star after reality TV star is setting a great precedent. Because I think that's just going to, obviously one of the reality stars is a traitor.
Exactly.
So keep the other ones around to get the suspicion. But yeah, I think Trevon and Nazila are two fine options. Who do you think is going to be the first traitor to be discovered?
Mike the Magician. At
I
first I
hope
thought it was
so.
Melissa,
Mm-hmm.
but the Mike's I just foresee Mike's head just keeps gonna get bigger and bigger every week he survives, and he's gonna slip up. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Yes. I think Mike is getting a pretty grand edit for someone who's gonna have like an
Yes.
epic downfall, and I'm kind of
Exactly.
excited. He's giving good TV right now. I'm intrigued by him, but he's gonna be a mess. And I would actually really like to see Kuzi and Melissa team up against Mike instead of Mike and Kuzi team up against Melissa. That's what I would like to see. Who do you think, if they have another traitor, which I'm assuming they will bring in another traitor when one gets let go, who do you think would make a good additional traitor?
I mean, so fast answer. My heart would love to see Kevin and Kuzi on the same team. I would love to see Kevin and Kuzi strategize. But who I would actually pick would be Mai. If it were up to me, I would pick Mai. She just seems very perceptive, very smart. I think Mai's going to be one of those people who, if the traders are smart, they either get her to their team or she's going to die by like midway because they're going to realize Mai's starting to put things together. So I think Mai would be the person who I would recruit.
Yeah, I think so too. She was going to be my answer also. I think she's going to be great. Well, great. Anything else on these two episodes, Javier, that we want to chat about?
My question for you is: who do you think is going to win so far? The faithfuls or the traders? What are you smelling in the water?
I don't know. I think I could see it. I think we need to see a little bit more from Kuzi.
Of course.
I think these faithfuls are playing hard. So I do think they are going to get to at least one or two of the traders sooner than maybe the US folks did. Just because I think they're going to be throwing names out left and right and they're just going to like hit one. I don't think it's going to be necessarily strategy. I think it's just going to be like, you like blink too hard and it's just going to happen to be one of the traders.
Yeah.
I mean, they already have Melissa. They already know, but they, things got, which to me, it's like, if you guys are so convinced, you guys should have voted Melissa, but whatever. Yeah. They got distracted by Colin. I think I could see the faithfuls winning this one, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the faithfuls have a good, there's a good faithful cast of civilians and reality TV stars. Mai, Kevin, some other civilians who we haven't really touched upon, but I think stood out to me besides Rick were, I think Mary, she stood out to me as well. And Melissa A, she also stood out to me. She seemed really smart. So I think between there's just a lot of people who, like you said, there's a lot of people who are here to game. So I am betting. If I was a betting man so far, my money is on the faithfuls as of now. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how next week goes. There's a lot of game left, and I'm excited to see it. Do you think there's going to be any new twists this season, or do you think it's going to be pretty?
I think it's going to be pretty much follow the path of the Traitors US version. I will say I would enjoy seeing a new twist just because I don't know how a twist would work in the game of the Traitor. So it would be interesting to see how they create a twist that would make sense for this type of reality TV show, I feel like when a Survivor and Big Brother, those twists, a lot of times, they might not be great, but they kind of make sense. They're like a safety twist, this, that, or the third. Will they do something interesting on the Traitors if they came up with their own twist? So I would be interested to see a new twist be added.
Yes, they did do something pretty fun, and I won't spoil anything about it, but well, I guess I'm just spoiling the twist, but I won't say the outcome or who did it. But in UK season 1, they made one of the traitors have to give someone a kiss on the cheek goodnight, and the person that they gave a kiss on the cheek goodnight is the person that they murdered. So they had to do it in the middle of the room. They had to like go up and give someone a kiss on the cheek. So like even just little things
so
like that.
cool. That
oh my
would
God,
be
it
a
was so
great
good. It was
twist.
so good. So things like that where it's like you have to kind of do it in public, or I think maybe they did, and I don't know if it was that same twist, but they made them like deliberate and decide who to murder without going upstairs. So they had to kind of like sneak away and have the conversation. So
Wait,
I don't
that's
remember.
so good too.
That might have been the same twist to decide like who to kiss on the cheek and like who was going to do it, but they couldn't decide like the night before. I haven't watched it in a while, so I might be getting my twists mixed up. So someone in the comments keep me honest, but they could throw some little things in there that could make it interesting. Yeah. The UK was fun. They threw a lot of like little fun things like that in there that like kept it really exciting, and you just didn't really know what was going to happen next. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, Javier, this was great. I'm excited to be back with you talking Traitors.
Me too. I'm very excited, and I'm like I said, like these 2 episodes were very good. Like I have very high hopes so far for this season. So hopefully they keep up with this momentum.
Yes, I totally agree. Tell the people where they can find you.
So everyone, you could find me at _the Starboy on Twitter. I'm sharing all my thoughts on all my favorite reality TV shows. You can catch me here on Signed the Traitors as well. We'll be back next week. You can also catch me on Love is Blurry here on Silent Podcast, our Love is Blind recap podcast. Season 5 has been low-key a disaster, but I've been enjoying it. I know a lot of people haven't because, you know, people are here for like love or whatever. I'm just here for mess, and this season has been delivering that for me. And yeah, just catch me popping up throughout here on Silent Podcast, everyone.
Yeah. You can catch me at RealSimKatie on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSimKatie with an underscore. You can hear me on the Bounce Checks podcast talking all things Big Brother. We have a really exciting guest coming up tomorrow, so check us out. Talking about this week. Jury starts this week, which is really exciting. And we're about to go watch the episode in 10 minutes and have a cam eviction party. So check us talking about that tomorrow. You can also find me on Pod What Happens Live, talking all things Bravo with Carrie. Once she is back and available, I think we're going to record again over the weekend. We've been in a little hiatus. I've been doing work travel. She's been traveling, so we've had a lot of stuff going on over the last couple of weeks, but we're back. And you can find me here every week talking the Traitors with Javier and Carrie and other guests that pop on from here on out. So thank you, everybody. I'll flash our graphic really quickly up on the screen. If you would like to support us elsewhere, you can do so by following us on Twitter at silent_podcasts. You can check us out if you're listening to us on audio. We stream most of our stuff live on YouTube and Twitch, so check us out there, Silent Podcast on both. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we also are available on all of your audio platforms, wherever you listen to your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, whatever you use, we're there. I use Pocket Casts personally. I love that app. I find us on there as well. And rate us, like us, comment, subscribe. It helps us out. But please only do so if you think that our content is worth 5 of your stars, because you can only rate us once. So I think anyway. So save it until you hear something that you think is 5 stars and you want to support us. It's a free, easy way to do so. Thank you, everybody. We will be back next week with Sign the Traitors. See you then.
Bye, everyone.